I stood in the center of our walk-in closet, the plush cream carpet swallowing the sound of my bare feet. My heart was hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird, so hard I could hear the blood rushing in my ears. In my trembling hand, I held it. Not a receipt, not a lipstick stain, but something far worse. It was a second phone, a cheap, disposable burner phone hidden inside the lining of Arthur's old gym bag, the one he swore he threw away months ago because the zipper was broken. The screen was cracked, emitting a harsh blue light in the dim room. I had guessed the passcode on the first try, 0505, the date we met. The audacity of it made bile rise in my throat. One message, just one unread message blinking at me, mocking 15 years of marriage. He's asleep. I'm wearing the emerald set you bought me. I wish your hands were here instead of hers. The timestamp was from 20 minutes ago. I looked down at my own hands. My ring finger, adorned with a diamond that suddenly felt like a shackle, was shaking uncontrollably. Arthur was in the next room, breathing deeply in a sleep I had thought was innocent. But the her in that message? That was me. I was the obstacle. I was the placeholder. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the phone against the wall. Instead, a cold, terrifying calm washed over me. I took a photo of the screen with my own phone, wiped my fingerprints off the device, and slid it back into the hidden lining. If they wanted a game, I was going to rewrite the rules, and I wasn't going to just win, I was going to bury them. To understand why I didn't wake him up right then and there, you have to understand who we were, or rather, who I thought we were. My name is Genevieve. To the outside world, my life was a glossy magazine spread. I was 42, looking 35 thanks to expensive creams and a disciplined yoga routine. I ran a high-end boutique florist in the city center, catering to weddings that cost more than most people's houses. My husband, Arthur, was the golden boy of the city's top architectural firm, tall with salt and pepper hair that only made him look more distinguished, and a smile that could disarm a bomb squad. We lived in a sprawling, modern glass and stone house overlooking the lake. We hosted dinner parties where the wine was vintage and the conversation was intellectual. We were the couple everyone envied. The power couple, our friends called us. But perfection is a heavy mask to wear, and lately the straps were digging into my skin. It started subtly, about 6 months before I found the phone. It wasn't the cliché lipstick on the collar or the smell of cheap perfume. Arthur was too smart for that. It was the absence. He was there physically, sitting across from me at the marble kitchen island while I poured his morning espresso, but his spirit was somewhere else. His eyes, usually warm and attentive, had glazed over. When I spoke about my day, about the difficulty of sourcing white peonies in December, or the bride who demanded blue roses, he would nod, but the rhythm was off. He was nodding at the pauses, not the points. "Are you listening, Arthur?" I asked one evening over a dinner of lemon herb roasted salmon. The smell of the rosemary was pungent, filling the kitchen, but the air between us felt stale. He blinked, startled, his fork freezing halfway to his mouth. "Of course, darling, the peonies. Terrible shortage." I hadn't mentioned peonies that night. I was talking about my mother's upcoming surgery. A cold shiver ran down my spine, despite the underfloor heating. I was talking about Mom, Arthur. "Right, yes, sorry, Genevieve. The project downtown is consuming me. The chaotic zoning laws, it's a nightmare." He rubbed his temples, feigning a headache. I watched his fingers massage his skin, long, artistic fingers that used to map out the curves of my body every night. Now, they barely brushed my shoulder in passing. I let it slide. We all get busy, we all get stressed. I was the supportive wife. I wasn't going to nag. But then came the sensory shifts. A few weeks later, I was doing laundry. We had a housekeeper, Magda. But I preferred handling Arthur's suits myself. It was a ritual of care. As I was brushing down his navy blazer, the one he wore for client meetings, I caught a scent. It wasn't perfume. It was subtler. It was the smell of vanilla and almond. It smelled like a bakery, sweet and youthful. Arthur hated sweets. He drank his coffee black and ate dark chocolate. Why did he smell like a cupcake? I buried my nose in the fabric, inhaling deeply, trying to dissect the molecular structure of the scent. It was clinging to the lapel, right where someone's head would rest during a hug, a long, lingering hug. New fabric softener? I asked Magda the next day, trying to sound casual as I arranged hydrangeas in the foyer. Magda, a sturdy woman with no time for nonsense, shook her head. No, Mrs. Genevieve, same lavender brand we use for 3 years. The vanilla scent haunted me. I started smelling it everywhere. In his car, on his scarf. It was like a phantom presence in our home. The first major crack in the facade happened on a rainy Tuesday. Arthur had called to say he would be late, a client dinner with the developers from the new high-rise project. "Don't wait up," he said, his voice tinny through the speaker. "It's going to be a bore." I decided to surprise him. Not at the restaurant, that would be possessive, but by having a hot bath and a late-night snack ready for when he returned. I stayed up, reading a novel in the living room, the rain lashing against the panoramic windows. At 11:30 p.m., headlights swept across the driveway. I smiled, marking my page, and stood up to greet him. He walked in, shaking his umbrella. He looked flushed, his eyes bright, his energy electric. He didn't look like a man who had sat through a boring zoning meeting. He looked like a man who had just run a marathon and won. "You're up?" he asked. And for a split second, I saw it. Disappointment. Just a flash, micro-expression, but it hit me like a slap. He didn't want to see me. He wanted to be alone with whatever memory he was replaying in his head. "I wanted to welcome you home," I said softly, walking over to kiss him. He turned his cheek, offering me the side of his face. "I'm exhausted, Jen. Truly. I just need to shower and crash." He pulled away and headed for the stairs. As he passed me, the air shifted. The rain smell on his coat was mixed with something else. Not vanilla this time. Champagne. And sweat. I stood in the hallway, the silence of the house pressing down on me. My stomach churned. A client dinner? On a Tuesday? With that much champagne? I went to the kitchen and checked our shared bank account app on my phone. Nothing. No charge for a dinner. No Uber. "Maybe the client paid," I whispered to the empty room. But Arthur always paid. It was a power move he insisted on. I couldn't sleep that night. I lay next to him, listening to the rhythm of his breathing. It was slow, peaceful. How could he sleep? My mind was a hurricane. Every insecurity I had buried for years began to surface. Was I too old? Was I too boring? Was my success emasculating him? The next morning, I decided to stop being the victim and start being the investigator. I began with the car. Arthur drove a sleek, silver sedan that he treated like a second child. While he was in the shower, I grabbed his keys and went to the garage. The leather interior was cold. I opened the glove box. Nothing but insurance papers and a tire gauge. I checked under the seats. Just a rogue mint wrapper. I checked the center console. And there, wedged deep in the corner, almost invisible against the black felt lining, was a hair clip. It wasn't mine. I have thick, auburn hair that I wear in loose waves. I use heavy, expensive clips. This was a cheap, plastic claw clip, painted a garish shade of neon pink. It was something a teenager would wear, or someone very young. I held it in my palm, feeling the sharp plastic teeth bite into my skin. Who was she? I put the clip back exactly where I found it. If I confronted him now, he'd say it belonged to a client's daughter or a niece, or it got stuck to his coat on the subway, even though he never took the subway. I needed more. I needed a face. The opportunity came 3 days later. Arthur mentioned a site visit on a Saturday. "It's the weekend, Arthur," I complained gently, pouring tea. "I know, Jen, but the structural integrity report came back with errors. I have to see it myself. I'll be back by 2. He kissed my forehead, a dry, perfunctory peck, and left. I waited 5 minutes. Then I walked to my own car, a nondescript SUV I used for hauling flowers, and followed him. He didn't go to the construction site. He drove 20 minutes in the opposite direction, towards the trendy, artsy district of the city, an area filled with lofts, coffee shops, and yoga studios, an area where young professionals lived. He parked in front of a renovated brick building. I pulled over 2 blocks down, my heart pounding so hard I felt dizzy. I watched through my sunglasses. He got out of the car. He checked his reflection in the side mirror, smoothed his hair, and walked to the entrance. He didn't buzz. He used a key. A key. He had a key to someone else's apartment. I sat there for 2 hours. My hands were gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. I watched the door. I watched the windows. Finally, the door opened. Arthur stepped out. And hanging on his arm, laughing with her head thrown back, was Serafina. My breath hitched. I knew her. Serafina was the new junior associate at his firm. She had been to our house for the Christmas party 3 months ago. I remembered her clearly. She was 24, fresh out of grad school. She had wide, innocent doe eyes and a habit of touching people when she spoke. I remembered how she had complimented my dress that night. "Oh, Mrs. Vance, you look so elegant. I hope I have your grace when I'm older." The little witch. She was wearing a short sundress and, I squinted, yes, neon pink accessories. She looked adoringly at Arthur, and he looked alive. He looked 20 years younger. He grabbed her waist and pulled her in for a kiss right there on the sidewalk in broad daylight. It wasn't a quick kiss. It was hungry, desperate. I slumped back in my seat, tears burning my eyes, but the tears didn't fall. They evaporated, replaced by a scorching heat. He wasn't just sleeping with her. He was playing house. He had a key. I drove home in a daze, but by the time I pulled into our driveway, the daze had solidified into ice. I walked into the house, looking at the life we had built. The Italian sofa, the art we collected in Paris, the photos of us on the mantle. He was going to throw this all away for a girl who used plastic hair clips? No, he wasn't going to throw it away. He was going to try to replace me. He was likely waiting for the right financial moment to leave me, probably after his firm's partners finalized his bonus structure next month. He wanted to have his cake and eat it too. I remembered the burner phone incident. That happened 2 weeks after I saw them at the apartment. Finding the phone was the final nail. It confirmed the emotional depth of the betrayal. I wished your hands were here instead of hers. That night in the closet, holding the burner phone, I made a choice. I could be the hysterical wife who screams and cries and gets divorced, leaving with half the assets and a broken heart. Or I could be Genevieve Vance, the woman who orchestrates perfection. I decided to orchestrate his ruin. The plan. Revenge is a dish best served not just cold, but frozen solid. I had to act normal. That was the hardest part. When Arthur came home that night after the site visit, smelling of vanilla and lies, I asked him how the structural report was. I listened to him lie about concrete density for 20 minutes. I smiled. I poured him wine. I even rubbed his shoulders. "You're so tense, darling," I cooed. "You work too hard." "I do it for us," he said. "The liar." Step 1 was financial intelligence. I knew Arthur handled most of our investments, but my name was on everything. I hired a forensic accountant, a woman named Eleanor, whom I knew from a high net worth networking group. I met her in a park wearing sunglasses and a scarf, feeling like a spy in a noir film. I need to know everything, I told her, handing over a USB drive with every document I could scan from Arthur's home office. Hidden accounts, transfers, shell companies, everything. Eleanor called me 3 days later. "It's worse than you think, Genevieve. He's been siphoning money from your joint savings into a crypto account for 6 months. And he bought a condo in the arts district. It's in a trust, but the beneficiary trace leads back to him." The condo, Serafina's love nest. He bought it with our money, my money, the money I earned from my business, which I poured into our joint future. "Can we access it?" I asked. "Not legally," Eleanor said, "but if you have his passwords." I had the passcode to the burner phone, 0505. Men are creatures of habit. I tried it on his laptop when he was in the shower. It worked. I tried it on his crypto wallet. It worked. He was so arrogant, he didn't even bother to change his security. He thought I was too stupid, too technologically challenged to figure it out. Step 2 was the social setup. Arthur's firm was hosting their annual Architectural Excellence Gala in a month. It was the biggest night of the year. Arthur was nominated for Architect of the Year. He was obsessed with winning. It was all he talked about. I knew Serafina would be there. As a junior associate, she had to attend. I started befriending Serafina. I sent a large bouquet of flowers to the firm's office for Administrative Professionals Day, specifically naming her on the card for her hard work on the downtown project. Arthur came home that night looking pale. "That was nice of you, sending flowers to the team," he said, watching me closely. "Oh, Serafina is such a dear," I said breezily, chopping carrots. "She sounds so helpful to you. We should invite her to dinner sometime." I watched his throat bob as he swallowed. "I don't think that's necessary. We keep work and life separate." "Nonsense. Bring her to the pre-gala cocktail party." He couldn't say no without looking suspicious. The weeks leading up to the gala were a blur of torture. I had to sleep in the same bed as him, knowing he was texting her. I had to let him touch me, knowing where those hands had been. I dissociated. I floated above my body, watching the performance. Meanwhile, I was moving money, slowly, methodically. I didn't steal it, I simply reallocated it. I moved the funds from the joint accounts into a trust for future real estate investments, a trust solely in my name, which he had signed off on years ago without reading the fine print because he trusted me. I liquidated the crypto account he thought was hidden and donated it anonymously to a charity that supports women starting over after divorce. That felt poetic. By the morning of the gala, Arthur was technically broke. He just didn't know it yet. The night of the gala. I wore emerald green, silk, floor-length, backless, the color of envy, the color of the jewelry he bought her. Arthur wore a tuxedo. He looked handsome, I'll give him that. But all I saw was a rotting corpse in a nice suit. "You look breathtaking, Jen," he said, adjusting his cufflinks. "I feel powerful, Arthur," I replied, staring into his eyes. "Tonight is going to be unforgettable." We arrived at the venue, a massive converted cathedral with vaulted ceilings and crystal chandeliers. The elite of the city were there. Champagne flowed like water. I saw Serafina immediately. She was wearing a red dress that was a little too tight, a little too revealing for a corporate event. She looked nervous. When she saw Arthur, her eyes lit up, but she quickly looked away. I walked straight up to her. "Serafina," I exclaimed, grabbing her hands. Her skin was clammy. "You look vibrant." "Mrs. Vance," she stammered, "thank you. You look amazing." "Please, call me Genevieve. We're practically family, considering how much time you spend with my husband." Her eyes widened in panic. Arthur stiffened beside me. "Genevieve is just joking," Arthur said, his laugh brittle. "She knows how demanding the job is." "Oh, I know," I smiled. "I know everything." I walked away before they could analyze my tone, mingling with the partners, charming the investors. I was the perfect wife. Then came the award ceremony. We sat at the front table. Arthur was vibrating with anticipation. The lights dimmed. The giant screen behind the stage flickered to life. The presenter, a pompous man with a bow tie, announced the nominees. Arthur's name was called. He squeezed my hand. I squeezed back hard. And the winner of the Architect of the Year award is Arthur Vance. The room erupted in applause. Arthur kissed me, a show for the cameras, and bounded up the stairs to the stage. He took the crystal trophy, beaming. He adjusted the microphone. "Thank you," he began, his voice booming. "This award represents not just my vision, but the support of my incredible team." This was my cue. I had paid the AV technician $2,000, a young kid, barely 20, who didn't care about corporate politics. He just wanted to buy a new gaming setup. "And now," Arthur continued, "I'd like to show a brief video of the project highlights." He gestured to the screen behind him. The screen went black for a second. Then, instead of the sleek lines of a skyscraper, a photo appeared. It was a selfie. Arthur and Serafina in bed, in the condo. Arthur was asleep. Serafina was making a peace sign, wearing the emerald necklace. The room went dead silent. The applause died instantly. You could hear a pin drop. Arthur, facing the audience, didn't see it. He smiled, confused by the sudden silence. As you can see, the structural integrity. Then the image changed. A screenshot of a text message. "Arthur, I can't wait to leave the old hag. Just need to secure the bonus. She's so boring, she has no clue." A collective gasp swept through the room like a wave. Arthur turned around. I watched the blood drain from his face. It happened in slow motion. His knees actually buckled. He grabbed the podium for support. The screens cycled through the evidence. The bank transfers to Serafina, the emails mocking the senior partners, the photos of them on a business trip in Cabo. Serafina, at the front table, let out a sob and ran for the exit. Her red heels clicked frantically on the marble floor, the sound of a rat fleeing a sinking ship. Arthur stood frozen on stage, the projection of his betrayal illuminating him like a spotlight from hell. He looked at the audience, then he looked at me. I was sitting calmly, sipping my champagne. I raised my glass to him, a silent toast. Checkmate. He tried to speak, but the microphone screeched. The partners of the firm were standing up, their faces furious. Not only had he humiliated his wife, but the texts revealed he was mocking them and potentially embezzling funds. His career was vaporized in 60 seconds. I stood up slowly, smoothed my silk dress, and walked out. I didn't run, I walked. Heads turned as I passed. I saw pity in some eyes, but mostly I saw awe. I wasn't the victim, I was the executioner. The aftermath. I was waiting in the foyer when Arthur finally came out. He was disheveled. The trophy was gone. "Genevieve," he rasped, reaching for me. "Genevieve, please, it was a mistake. Let me explain." I took a step back. "There's nothing to explain, Arthur. You wanted a new life? You have it. You're free." "I love you," he sobbed. A grown man crying in a tuxedo. It was pathetic. She meant nothing. It was just a midlife crisis. Please don't leave me. I'm not just leaving you, Arthur, I said, my voice steady and cold. I'm evicting you. The house is in my name. My inheritance paid for the down payment, remember? The joint accounts are empty. I moved my share and froze yours pending the divorce audit. And your car? I think the lease is up next week. His eyes bulged. You can't. I already did. My lawyer sent the papers to your office this morning. Oh wait, you probably don't have an office anymore. I turned to the valet who had brought my car around. Genevieve, he screamed, falling to his knees. What am I supposed to do? I opened the car door and looked back at him one last time. I suggest you call Serafina, I said. Maybe she has room in that condo. Oh, wait, the payments on that were coming from the account. I just froze. Good luck with the rent. I got in the car and drove away. I rolled down the windows, letting the night air rush in. It smelled of rain and exhaust, but to me, it smelled like freedom. I didn't cry. I had done my crying in the closet with the burner phone. Now I felt light. The divorce was messy, of course. He tried to fight, but the evidence was overwhelming. The public humiliation clause in our prenup, which my father had insisted on, bless him, meant he got almost nothing. Serafina was fired the next day. Rumor has it she moved back to her parents' house in Ohio. Arthur? Last I heard, he was working for a small firm in the suburbs, designing garage extensions. He aged 10 years in 10 months. As for me, I kept the house. I expanded my business. I started dating a charming cardiologist who knows better than to lie to me. But sometimes, late at night, I look at the emerald green dress hanging in the back of my closet. I don't wear it anymore. It's a trophy, a reminder. It reminds me that kindness is not weakness, and that a woman's intuition is the most dangerous weapon in the world. So ladies, that is my story. It wasn't easy. There were days I wanted to curl up and die. There were days I wanted to forgive him just to make the pain stop. But I realized something important. If you accept disrespect, you are teaching people how to treat you. I chose to teach him a lesson he would never forget. Never ignore your gut. If something smells wrong, like vanilla in a dark roast life, trust it. And remember, the best revenge isn't screaming. It's happiness, it's success, and occasionally it's a well-timed PowerPoint presentation. Now I have to ask you, what would you have done? Would you have confronted him the moment you found the phone? Or would you have played the long game like I did? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. If this story gave you chills, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss the next confession. We have a shocking story coming next week about a mother-in-law who tried to cancel a wedding. You won't believe what happened. Stay strong, stay smart, and never let them see you cry.